Hello and welcome to this Storytime video. I hope you enjoy the story and the art. But before we begin to review the story, I need to give you a content warning, as I'm sure, based on the title, you foresaw this coming. But for those that didn't, this video is going to have descriptions of bodily injury, blood, hospital visits, and staples. If any of these things make you uncomfortable, please click off of this video. I've got plenty of cute, wholesome content that you can look at, and I'll see you around another time. Now that has been said, hi, I'm Chrissy, and today I'm going to tell you about the time I got staples in my skull. So the year was 2001. In fact, it was New Year's Eve, and we'll get to why I remember that part later. But my second brother, sister, and I were playing in my brother's room. I was 6, my sister was 8, and my second brother was 10. Now, we're all messy kids, as kids almost always are. Ask any parent to keep a spotless home is next to impossible with children. But we were playing in my brother's bedroom. We had the bed spring leaned up against the wall, and I guess we were climbing up it, or at least that's what I was told at one point. I remember my brother giving me a piggyback ride. We were all laughing and having fun. I felt a tug on my back, and probably my shirt getting caught on the bed spring or whatever. Then my brother and I fell over. Everything went back. Everything went black. That word is misspelled in this document. Oh well. Now, pause right here real quick. I want to take this moment to revisit that statement of us being messy kids. Well, we 100% were, and my brother loved to take apart his toys. He rarely put them back together, so his floor was constantly covered in random screws, springs, and such from various toys he took apart. I just wanted to take a moment to explain that, and now back to the story. Everything went black. When I woke up, I felt my brother's butt had landed on my head. He quickly got up. I sat up, holding my head because it hurt and was ringing. My brother and sister were standing away from me because they knew I was gonna cry, and the distance would help them with deniability, I guess. I brought my hands down and just remember seeing blood all over my right hand. It was like food coloring almost. I didn't know when I began scream crying, but my mom arrived, yelling herself, demanding answers. Our tiny bodies were too tense to answer. Granted, I cried a lot as a kid. At this point, I have no real audio memory. It's kind of just visuals and sensations. Mom took me to the bathroom and put my hands under running water in one of the sinks in the bathroom. It was like a master bathroom with a shower and a garden tub. It had a long counter with 2 sinks. One across from the shower and the other across from the garden tub with the toilet by that second sink. But my mom was searching my hands for the cut that caused all this blood. She found no cut. She squeezed my hands to try to see if she could find the cut by getting the blood to ooze out of me, but nothing happened. A short course later, she pulled me over to the garden tub. She turned it on, leaned me over it, and then sprayed my hair. Now, another pause/tangent here. I was 6, and my hair at this point had never been cut. My hair was practically down to my waist. Now, I mention this because my hair, when wet, and me looking down, looks like tentacles, and I vividly remembered how it looked as pale Kool-Aid-like water flowed down my head. It's one of the few things I can remember clearly from my childhood. Once Mom knew that my head was bleeding, she placed a towel on my head where the cut was and loaded me in the car and took me to the RMC. The center is no longer named that, so I don't really have much problem naming it, but just in case, I'm giving initials. I'm guessing Dad was home to watch my other siblings, or they were sent next door to stay with my papa until she got back. I don't really know. I know they didn't come with us. According to Mom, we were there for 5 hours. The only other person in the emergency room was another girl with a foot injury. Odd that the emergency room was so empty, but it's RMC, they had a rep. And by the way I'm saying rep, you know it's not the best. When I was in high school in 2012, I had a class with several girls who also went to the Rockdale Career Academy, where they trained to become nurses. That's what their classes were geared toward over there. But, and this is a big but, they also worked at RMC. And extra bonus, they were all bitchy women. At least the ones I met and how they presented themselves. My sister also dealt with them more than me, and she also got that vibe of bitchy rudeness too. So yeah, some of the nurses were legit high school students with the personality of someone I personally feel shouldn't be taking care of people. At least by like 2009. I don't know back in 2001 when this incident happened, but either way, RMC, they had that rep. And it didn't quite get any fucking better. So, yeah. So, back to the story once again. So, after 5 hours, not 5 years, after 5 hours, I was pulled into another room. During like the waiting process, my mom told me I was loopy and running all around with like a bloody towel on my head. So yeah, hyperkin energy. I don't really remember that part. But I was finally pulled into another room. I remember it being small and cramped with like machines and stuff. They had me sitting on a high stretcher table thing. The doctor gave me a teddy bear with a State Farm logo on its shirt. He took a numbing agent and put it on my head before putting staples in my head. I'm not sure why they use staples and not stitches. I personally think that my mom said something about not wanting my hair to be cut. Though at one point, I had been told that they had actually run out of stitches, so who knows? So I got staples in my head and a teddy bear that I named Goodnay. By the time we left, it was like pitch black outside. When we got there, the sun was still out. So my mom had me sleep on the pull-out couch with her that night. She passed out and I stayed up watching the Toon Disney Channel. I watched as Toon Disney welcomed in the new year and watched Young Hercules and the House of Mouse. And that's how I know for sure that this was 2001, because I specifically remembered the new year being marched in on the Toon Disney Channel. So yeah. A week later, we had to go to a doctor's office to get the staples removed. It didn't take that long, but I remember the doctor being very surprised and commenting to my mom about how I wasn't squirming or crying. It was only about like 6 staples, if I recall correctly. It hurt a bit as she took them out, but I was told to hold still and warned that it might hurt a bit. So yeah, that is the story about how I broke my skull and got staples in my head. I hope you all enjoyed my story time or my art or both. So go ahead and hit the like button, the subscribe button, leave a comment down below. Help feed the, the YouTube algorithm gods of evil. So yeah. And let me know stories down in the comments down below. Bye bye!